Hi, and welcome to Teen Kids News. I'm Lila. We've got a lot to cover in this week's show, so let's get started. Here's our top story. A little more than 100 years ago, two big steps were taken in the world of music. Ava tells us about a recent and very special connection between those two events.
Back in 1913, the most influential list in the world of music first began. Although it started out by ranking the best-selling sheet music, today, Billboard is famous for ranking songs and albums in more than a dozen categories, ranging from pop to international. The other notable event took place just a few years before the birth of Billboard. A Catholic priest, Father William Finn, started the Paulist Choristers, an all-boys choir in Chicago. It would go on to win awards and perform all around the world. Over the years, the choir has changed in many ways, including adding girls, expanding across the country, and it even has a new name, the National Children's Chorus. And the reason I'm telling you about both the National Children's Chorus and Billboard is because the chorus has released an album that zoomed to the number 3 spot on Billboard's list of classical albums. Called Illumine, it's a wonderful collection of winter holiday songs. Here's an example. To make it onto a Billboard chart is not just an honor, it's a recognition that your music is receiving lots of airplay and sales. When Teen Kids News continues, we'll meet some of the voices behind the music. Be right back. Welcome back. I'm continuing my report on the National Children's Chorus and their album that hit number 3 on the Billboard Classical Albums chart. Joining us are two of the singers that are on that album, Kiran Subramanian from Austin, Texas, and Athena Artemis from Stamford, Connecticut. And they're joined by the chorus's artistic director, Luke McEndarfer. Welcome and congratulations on your impressive achievement.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Before we talk about the album, tell us about the National Children's Chorus.
Well, the National Children's Chorus started with a dream to create a network of students from across the country who shared common interests and passion in music, and to bring them together both for musical dialogue and in order to participate in incredible projects. The organization has grown to roughly 1,500 students now in 8 chapter cities across the United States. So we're really excited about the growth of the organization and the opportunities that it presents students from across the country.
Kiran, why did you join the chorus?
I was moving from out of state into Austin, Texas, and I was thinking about ways that I could fill my passion for singing once I made that move and transition. And when I found out that the National Children's Chorus was starting a chapter in Austin, Texas, I was very eager to audition. And so I auditioned and I ended up getting in. And so that's kind of how I started with the NCC. I not only was moving to Austin, but joining this amazing group.
And you've been singing, though, for quite some time, haven't you?
Yes, definitely. I have been singing since I was 3. My family says that I was singing before I could speak practically.
So the chorus was definitely a good fit. Athena, same question for you. Why'd you join?
I joined because when I was maybe around 7 or 8 years old, a family friend of ours sent a link to my mom to this article about this children's chorus. And I grew up homeschooled, so I didn't do too many big activities. So my mom thought that this would be a great opportunity for me to meet other kids my age who were also interested in music the way I was. So I went to the audition and I was petrified because I'd never auditioned before, but it was such a wonderful experience. Everyone there was so kind, and that's actually where I met Mr. McEndarfer. And it just went from there. I have been a part of it for the last 10 years, and I'm so glad I joined.
That's awesome. The album is called Illumine. The dictionary says illumine means to enlighten someone spiritually or intellectually. How does the album do that?
We really wanted to create a winter/holiday album that celebrated holiday traditions from around the world. Whenever you connect people through music and open their minds and their hearts, that in itself is enlightening and follows along with the theme of our title.
Clearly, Illumine is a special album, and so was the location where it was recorded.
Recording at Abbey Road Studios, which is the most famous studio in the world, was truly an amazing opportunity, especially as a teenager, to have that ability to record in the same space that the Beatles recorded. It was truly an amazing experience.
I was feeling many of the same emotions. Walking through Abbey Road Studios, it's such an iconic place, and being able to see it right in front of my eyes, it was like a dream coming to life in front of me.
We have a clip of the chorus at Abbey Road Studio performing along with the legendary London Symphony Orchestra. Certainly looks like it was quite an experience. Besides trips to places like Abbey Road, what else makes being a part of the NCC special?
What I get the most out of it is we're not just learning pieces and just singing them. We are diving into them, learning about the history and how we are able to impact others with our music. And then we get to travel all around the world performing it.
What attracts you to choral music?
That's a very good question. Choral music has this ambience, it has this charisma, it has this flavor and type of style that just screams the sense of unity and togetherness and community, which is not only found in the musical aspect of the NCC, but the friends you make and the community you built within your chapter city and the nation. And choral music it makes me feel like home. It's like home.
Nicely said. If any of our viewers want to join the National Children's Chorus, what's the process?
Well, that is very simple. Right on our homepage is a red button which says apply. And when you click there, there's a lot of information on how to apply for the chorus, what the rehearsal schedule is in each of our chapter cities, as well as what we do during the audition.
Sounds good. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Besides being a recording studio, Abbey Road is also the name of the Beatles' 11th album. Its iconic cover, showing them walking across the street, started a tradition. Many visitors take photos of themselves imitating the Fab Four, and so did some of the chorus. To find out more about the National Children's Chorus, check out their website. For Teen Kids News, I'm Ava.
We've got lots more coming up, so stick around. And during this break, please take a sec to like, follow, and subscribe to our socials so you never miss out on Teen Kids News. We'll be right back. Let's face it, failures are part of life. And while no one likes to fail, fear of failing shouldn't stop you from trying something outside your comfort zone. That's why we're running these stories on people who failed but then came roaring back.
He's one of the most successful inventors in history. It's no overstatement that Thomas Alva Edison changed the world. He's the father of the phonograph. Edison not only created the movie camera, but he built the very first movie studios. Most famously, he was the guiding light behind the incandescent bulb. And these were just a few of his many contributions. Unfortunately, not everyone saw his brilliance, especially early on. Young Edison was fired from his first 2 jobs. But there was no stopping this inventive genius. He was also a managerial genius. Edison brought together some of the brightest minds to work with him in his workshop in Menlo Park, New Jersey. Edison called it his invention factory. His single-minded focus, his talent to think outside the box, and his ability to harness the efforts of others resulted in an astounding 1,093 patents in his name. Contrary to popular myth, Edison didn't invent the light bulb. He discovered how to make it practical. When trying to find a substance that would allow a bulb to operate continuously, Edison tested hundreds and hundreds of materials. While critics pointed out that he actually failed far more than he succeeded, Edison put a new spin on failure, saying, "I have not failed 10,000 times. I've successfully found 10,000 ways that will not work." No doubt about it. Thomas Edison is the poster boy for the phrase, "If at first you don't succeed, try, 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 try." Well, you get the point. With this episode of our series, If at First You Don't Succeed, I'm Emily for Teen Kids News.
Here's some truly great news. Chocolate can prevent cavities. Yes, you heard correctly. Here's why. Chocolate, particularly dark chocolate, has tannins. And tannins help prevent tooth decay by protecting teeth from harmful bacteria. Experts say the darker the chocolate, the better. So look for chocolate that has a high percentage of cacao, 70% or more. And you don't have to eat a lot. 1 square a day will do the trick. Just to be clear, milk chocolate won't help. Because milk chocolate has more sugar, it's more likely to create cavities, not prevent them. So be sure to stick with dark chocolate. You can thank me later. For Teen Kids News, I'm Peter.
If you're a new driver, there's a lot to keep in mind. That's why we're bringing you this driving tip from the National Road Safety Foundation. The NRSF produces lots of helpful videos. For info on driving safely, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to the National Road Safety Foundation.
When Teen Kids News continues, I'll explain China's connection with color and culture. See you in a minute.
It's time for some tips to help you make the grade.
When you think of a family trip, you probably think of amusement parks, historic sites, or natural wonders like a national park. But there's something else you might take in on your next trip: a college tour. While this is usually something high school juniors and seniors do, it doesn't hurt to visit some schools, even if you're still in middle school. Especially if you happen to be visiting a part of the country that takes a lot of time and money to get to. If there's a college or university you've heard about in the area, ask your parents if there's time for a side trip. Go to the school's website and check their schedule. Many colleges have tours throughout the year, and they're free. The tours are usually led by students who have lots of inside information about campus life. You're never too young to take advantage of what I call the 3 V's of college prep. Visit, so you get a feel for the area. View, so you see what college life there is like. And visualize. See if you can imagine yourself as a student there. And here's one more V, vary. If you don't wait until the last minute to start checking out schools, you'll be very happy when application time finally rolls along. I'm Kristen, here to help you make the grade.
We typically look at colors as a design element or a way to distinguish objects. But, as we're about to hear, color plays a far deeper role in Chinese culture.
Color holds a special place in Chinese tradition. In addition to adding beauty, color had spiritual meaning that held influence and power. That's because the Chinese believed in what's called the 5 elements theory. It's the belief that everything in our world comes from 5 elements: fire, water, earth, wood, and metal. And each of those elements is connected with a color. Fire is red, earth is yellow, metal is white, wood is both blue and green. That's because they considered blue and green pretty much the same color. And surprisingly, the color for water is black. Color influenced customs and shaped traditions. For example, brides wore red because it was hoped it would bring happiness and good luck. It also symbolized celebrations, so that's the color sported by festive party lanterns. Massive gates and walls were red because the color was believed to offer protection from evil. For many centuries, it's been China's official national color. And it still is. The People's Republic of China's red flag symbolizes the country's 1949 Communist Revolution. From the country's vital yellow river to exquisite imperial decorations, yellow projected power and authority. That's why it was associated with the emperor. Yellow also represented the center, as in the center of the earth. Since the ancient Chinese believed the emperor was the center of all things, yellow was the color of royalty. And while the color we associate with death is black, in China, it's the opposite. Mourners wear white to funerals. No question about it, China certainly has a rather colorful history. With the Tea on China, I'm Ava.
We want to hear from you. Send us a short comment on the show. And if you want, send along a photo. Each week, we'll feature the best comment on air. We just need your first name and your town or city. Don't go away. There's still more Teen Kids news ahead.
Back in 1770, English explorer James Cook and his crew became the first Europeans to land at the island continent of Australia. Coming ashore, the British found the local Kuju Yamatir people were friendly. During his stay, Cook saw an animal different from any he had ever seen. It was furry, had 4 legs, 2 very large and 2 rather small, a thick tail. Some had a stomach pouch in which they carried their young. And they hopped. When Captain Cook asked, "What's the name of the strange animal?" the chief replied, "Kangaroo," which the British pronounced as kangaroo. And that's what we call those animals to this day. The kangaroo has even become a national symbol of Australia. It wasn't until years later that it was discovered that kangaroo in the local tongue wasn't the name of the animal. It was actually the chief saying, "I don't understand." At least, that's the legend. Some linguists believe it may be true, but many others say it's just a made-up story. By the way, here's a story about names that's definitely true. As all Trekkies know, the name of the man in charge of the Starship Enterprise is Captain James T. Kirk. He was named after Captain John Cook. I wonder if that would have made the man who supposedly named the kangaroo honored, or hopping mad. For Teen Kids News, I'm Katerina.
Well, that wraps up our show for this week, but we'll be back with more Teen Kids News next week. See you then.